Today on The Young and the Restless, Phyllis squares off with Tucker, Nikki wants to mentor Audra, and Nick pays Victor a visit. At the athletic club, Tucker takes a call from Phyllis, who is at the coffee house and wants her money. He tells her there's been a slight delay. Billy walks in behind Phyllis as she replies to Tucker, asking her to come to his suite to clear it up with, "You bet we will." Billy questions Phyllis as to what's up with the intense-sounding call. Phyllis claims she was shut down for a job and tells him, "I will land on my feet." Billy wonders about all the money she has to pay back. Phyllis appreciates his concern and says, "I don't think you give a damn about me or my finances." She tells him to dispense of his Fox sympathy card and ask her what he really wants to know. At the club, Audra walks up to Tucker and asks if he's planned his attack on Jabbat and the Abbotts yet. He snarks, "Why don't you say that a little louder?" She guesses there's a snag. He tells her, "Nothing I can't handle." At Jabbat, Jack updates Diane on Mamie's return to settle old debts. She's relieved it has nothing to do with them. Just then, an employee walks in and tells Jack, "Mr. Abbott, you'll need to see this." The financial team flagged a transaction. Jack looks at it and gawps. He tells Diane that there was a large money transfer out of an account tied to an old lab subdivision that was shut down years ago. This account has been dormant since then. Diane asks who owed the payment. Jack replies, "My brother." Chance greets Summer at society, and she asks what's got him in such a good mood. He tells her it won't be official until later, but she's looking at the new chief of police. Summer hugs him. Chance relays that he wanted to celebrate with Sharon, but she's out of town. Summer offers to buy him lunch. He deserves to be celebrated properly. They sit down and Chance thanks her. He's a little more excited about this than he thought he'd be. Summer promises not to hit up the new chief for a favor if her mother pulls a stunt again. Chance marvels at becoming chief and being responsible for the police officers. It's a little overwhelming. He confides that Sharon was the one who convinced him he could do it. Summer understands him being a little nervous, but agrees he's the right person for the job. At Newman, Nick warns Nikki that Victoria is hell-bent on proving that Victor isn't fit to run the company. Nikki gasps, "She can't do this." Nick thinks it's a countermeasure to being demoted. Nikki agrees. He wonders if Nikki feels there is actual cause for concern. Nikki is worried, but not about Victor's mental capacity. He's as sharp as ever. She's concerned Victoria will stir up so much conflict, he'll take on more responsibility trying to protect his life's work. It was his first baby and he will hang on to that for dear life, or until the stress kills him. She sighs that he's just a man and he gets tired. All he wants to do is go to bed at night and know that his legacy will go on. If you were to return, Nick asks her not to go there. The last thing he wants to do is get between Nate and Adam. He actually thinks that move was kind of funny. Nikki agrees it's a ticking time bomb. Nick asks what else he can do to help. Nikki urges him to speak to his father. This is something they all need to keep an eye on as a family. Victor appears and asks, "Keep an eye on what?" Nikki leaves Nick to talk to his father. Nick informs him that Victoria is worried about his mental capacity. Victor asks, "You think I've lost my grip?" Nick doesn't, but is questioning his choices lately, like making Adam Mate's assistant, which could end up a disaster on many fronts. Victor asks, "Can you think of a better way to find out if Adam is sincere?" Nick replies, "He's not sincere. He's convinced his brother is conning Victor once again." Victor asks, "Why do you even care?" Nick cares about him and the family. The way he sees it, Nate is either using Adam, or vice versa, or the two will team up against him, and he'll never see it coming. At Crimson Lights, Billy thinks Phyllis is scared. When her back's against the wall, she makes bad choices, like getting involved with Tucker McCall. Phyllis asks why he thinks she was involved with McCall again. Billy's seen them together and guesses they're cooking up something illegal. Phyllis snarks, "Maybe we're having an affair." Billy thinks she has better taste than that. Phyllis quips, "Really?" Billy thinks Tucker is using her for something specific. If she's financially unstable, she could be convinced to give him a hand. Just then, Billy gets a text from Jack summoning him to Jabbat. Nikki walks into the club and narrows her eyes in suspicion when she spots Audra in deep discussion with Tucker. They get up and greet her and then Tucker leaves. Nikki informs Audra it is not in her best interests to have anything to do with that man. At Jabut, Jack confronts Billy for authorizing the transfer of the funds. Billy denies it was him. Jack says someone is setting this up to look like Billy is embezzling money. They need to figure out who's doing it before they make another move. Billy grinds his teeth. In his suite, Tucker flashes to his last interaction with Phyllis, who shows up pounding on the door. She wants the rest of her money. Tucker complains she didn't quite do what he asked her to do. She hacked into Jabut's corporate account and transferred the funds into a dormant account authorized by Billy. You were supposed to transfer the money into Billy's personal account. Phyllis smirks. I must have misunderstood you. He asks her to sit down and fix it. She wants her money. Did you not know I would safeguard things for myself? No one trusts him. Phyllis says she set up some secondary triggers as well in case he decided to stiff her. He asks what she did. Phyllis grins that she can transfer money into his account from her computer, which she put in his name. Tucker, confused, says he was watching her the entire time. Phyllis reminds him he hired the best. I hold all the cards. Tucker asks what she wants. Phyllis wants the rest of the money plus an extra 20% for aggravating her. Tucker chuckles at Phyllis really is a work of art. You and I actually make a very good team. She snips. We're not a team. Tucker could make her part of something that would make this little stunt seem like child's play. Phyllis reiterates that she's done here and then she's going to change her life. He finds this hilarious. Phyllis is disgusted that she was even a part of this. She did it to pay off a debt, and now it's over. Tucker clucks, you're really negative. He predicts that she'll burn through the money and will be back for more. They are alike, she just doesn't want to admit it. Phyllis would rather die than be that person. Tucker pulls out his phone and transfers the rest of the money to her account. You turn, he tells her. Phyllis sits at the desk, pulls out the laptop, and puts the Jabut money in Billy's personal account. She moves to leave, but Tucker tells her, we're not quite finished. At Newman, Victor tells Nick if he doesn't think he and Victoria can handle the scenario he expects, then he should come back. Nick declines. He's created this chaos to lure him back. Victor says, you do what you have to do, son. Nick says he will. Victor tells him this meeting is over. Nick exits. In the GTAC, Audra tells Nikki that she and Tucker used to work together, and they're just casual friends. He's often misunderstood. Nikki disagrees and says he's a menace. Between her misguided affair with Kyle and her friendship with Tucker, I am starting to question your judgment. Audra asks if she's ordering her to stop being friends with Tucker, and sarcastically suggests she give her a list of all the people she knows so they can be properly vetted. It's starting to feel like she wants to control every aspect of her life, personally and professionally, and I'm just curious why. Nikki assures Audra her private life is her own, as long as it doesn't have a negative impact on Newman Media. She only warns her about Tucker for her own good. Audra can hold her own with Tucker. He's been a mentor to her more than anything else. He's taught me a lot. Nikki asks, is he still teaching you? Nikki asks what matter he was discussing with her and what kind of mentoring he's doing. Audra says Tucker was merely getting her feedback on a new venture he's considering. Nikki likes Audra and finds her cool under pressure. She could have quite a career. Audra likes working with her too, but she doesn't like to feel crowded or controlled. Nikki informs her that another way of looking at it is that she'd like to be her new mentor. Audra hadn't thought of it that way. Nikki tells Audra, your goals are ahead of you, but you'll never achieve them if you keep looking back. Nick greets Chance and Summer at Society. Chance has to go get ready for a news conference and tells Nick that his daughter can fill him in. Nick sits down with Summer, who asks, what? Nick didn't know they were close. Summer says he was there for her when she was going through everything with Mom. She relays that she's forgiven Phyllis and they're starting to heal. She asks if he'll ever forgive her. Nick is still avoiding her. Summer tells him she needs a job. Nick gawps, you want me to offer her a job? Summer insists she needs something to focus on and is a hard worker. There's got to be something for her at your company. Nick tells Summer he will talk to Sharon but isn't making any promises. Summer asks, so how are things between you and Sharon with the company? Nick says they're settling into a good working relationship. Summer really hopes things work out between the two of them. In Tucker's suite, he tells Phyllis that her daughter will need a job. When he takes over Jabot, and he'll streamline it and will cut Marchetti. Phyllis threatens to go to Jack and tell him everything Tucker's done. Tucker reminds her, if I go down, you go down. He warns her to watch her step and not to make any threats she can't back up. He didn't pay her 20% aggravation fee, and she's lucky he didn't charge her the same thing. With that, he ushers her out the door. At Jabot, Jack announces to Billy and Diane that the funds have now been moved to another account, of which he only knows the account number. Diane asks, who could be doing this? Billy says it's Phyllis. She asks why he thinks that. Billy has seen her and Tucker together earlier and could tell something was going on. This is what it is. He shares that she's a genius at hacking into computers and needs the cash flow right now. This is Phyllis and Tucker working together to come after them. Billy has a feeling this is only the first shot. In his suite, Tucker gets a video call from Lena Love and thanks her for calling him back. She wants the scoop on what's going on between him and Ashley Abbott. He chuckles. We're working things out. He can give her a rumor about another Abbott, Billy. In the jazz lounge, Phyllis is on the phone verifying that the insurance funds have been repaid in full. Just as she disconnects, a man appears and says, "You look like you just lost your best friend. It's Danny Romalotti."